Dan Shalom with you, alongside AJ DeBenedetto here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Stallions versus Rapids. First time that Watertown is traveling all the way down here. It's a 4-hour bus ride. I've done it before. It was a brutal one up there last week, and the Stallions are looking to beat this Watertown team for the first time this season after falling 5-4 last Saturday night.
9 teams in the East Division of the PGCBL, and this is the only team that Saugerties has not beat yet. So they are looking for a revengeful win. As you said, they lost on a walk-off hit 5-4. They didn't want that to happen, and it did happen. They're not going to allow that to happen at Canton today.
Well, you mentioned walk-offs, AJ. The Stallions themselves, in their last game on Wednesday night, an 8-7 walk-off win after they were trailing 5-0 in the first inning. Credits to Eddie Yaman.
Yeah, 7-2 going to the bottom of the 8th. It gets 7-3, 3-2 count, 2 outs with Eddie Yaman up at the plate, and he hits it out. 7-7 ties it. They take it to the bottom of the 9th, and Mario Travella scores, steals home, and the Stallions win 8-7.
It was a night to remember here at Canton Field. It's not just Eddie Yaman that's been clicking for this team, though. 5 guys in particular have truly been tearing it up. 4 out of the 5 are in the lineup tonight. That is Byram Hott, Nate Manley, Eddie Yaman, Justin Ford, and Andrew Amato.
You look at their combined average, sitting at 316, combined 86 hits, 21 of them being extra base hits. They've scored 68 times. They've got runs batted in 62 and added 5 home runs to it.
They've been truly spectacular. It's not just the hitting, though. That's been great. The Stallions have one of their best on the mound tonight. That's Nick Pettit.
Yeah, Nick Pettit, an absolute monster season so far. Tied for 4th in the PGCBL with 31 strikeouts, 9 above any other Stallion on this team. Really a gem on the mound.
And we saw the Stallions pitching staff really settle down after that 5-run first against Mohawk Valley on Wednesday. I mean, what'd you see from them?
I just saw them calm down. They saw what the problem is, and they adjusted quick. They had 5 in the first, 0 to the 5th, and then 1 and 1 that made it 7, and then came the comeback. But they really limited the runs in the beginning because they didn't want it to get out of hand. We saw a game like that pretty recently.
Limiting the damage is the key. There's a new addition to this Stallions team as well. Last name that you might be a little bit familiar with, Peyton Bonds, is in the lineup. That's Barry Bonds' nephew. He's starting out in left tonight.
Yeah, first start for the Stallions today. Starting in left field, he is wearing number 47. At Campbell, he played at Campbell, going into his sophomore year, transferring to Rutgers. Batted a .267, 5 home runs, 21 RBIs. An effective batter at the plate.
I mean, I was just chatting with him pregame. He probably stands at least 5 inches taller than me. This is a big guy with a big frame that the Stallions are hoping can bring some depth to this lineup.
Yeah, another great outfielder adding to the outfielder depth. Another great hitter at Canton. Really, the 2 and 2 collide very well.
And then this game in particular now, as we head down the stretch, is a must-win. The Stallions currently sit 4 games out of the PGCBL East top spot, of course behind the Amsterdam Mohawks. Mohawks in action against Albany today. So these games, as we get further along, just become more crucial.
Yeah, it's crunch time, game in and game out. Every game matters more. And today is an important game, tomorrow is an important day, and the day after is an important day. It's becoming the end of the season, Dan. Every game's important.
You mentioned that. It's an easy stretch coming up for the Stallions. They have Watertown here tonight, who sit at 7th in the standings. Then it's Glens Falls for the next 2 days, that being on Friday, and then on Sunday. The biggest thing, though, AJ, is a doubleheader on Tuesday against the Albany Baseball Club, which the Stallions struggled with last week.
Multiple games coming up, like you said. That's 5 and 4 days, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a lot of gameplay, a lot of pitchers getting used, and a lot of at-bats and reps. If the Stallions put it together and mesh very well, you could look at a high win streak coming up in these next few days.
And all those games lead up to a Friday night matchup against the Amsterdam Mohawks up at Shuttleworth Park. We're going to take a break here on the Pack Cup pregame show. When we come back, we'll run through lineups and first pitch. Stay right with us. Dan Shalom with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Stallions searching for win number 21 on the season, but are matching up against an opponent they haven't been able to catch a win against this year. That's the Watertown Rapids.
Yeah, the Watertown Rapids on the year are negative, Dan, sitting at 14, 16, and 11 games behind of first place. The only team the Stallions have not beat this yet is the Watertown Rapids. So they're looking for a much-needed win and much-needed momentum.
Why don't we take a look at the Watertown batting lineup that's going to be matching up against Nick Pettit. Starting off, it's going to be Jeff Hadson-Taylor. He's batting .241 this season. Then Dylan Wennett in the 2-hole. Then it's going to be Nick Bergamoto. Then it's Ryan Kramer in the cleanup spot. Jake Blasi, the extra hitter. Peyton Shipman down there in the 6-hole. Connor Sackett doing the catching tonight. He's batting .154. Mason Collins, the two-way hitter and pitcher, down there in the 8-hole. He's batting .293 coming into this one. Then it's Trey Runge in the 9-hole. Dominic Morabito out in center. And they're going to be going up against arguably the Stallions' best starter, Nick Pettit.
Yeah, no doubt the Stallions, one of the best starters, 2-0 on the year, an ERA of a 1.2. 7 games appeared, 4 of them starting. He is the most innings pitched on the team at 22 1/3. In those 22 1/3 innings, Dan's 31 strikeouts, only allowed 13 hits, and only walked 5 people.
Stallions defense looks a little bit different tonight than we've seen in the past. Nate Manley behind the dish. Matt McIntyre over at third. Byram Hott at short. In his last game for Saugerties, then Mario Travella over at second. Eddie Yaman at first, and then from left to right. I feel like we've seen this before. Barry Bonds' nephew, Peyton Bonds, in left field. Then out in center, it's Tyler Buck. And in right, Justin Ford.
A different lineup, like you said, a little bit of a different outfield, but it's all for the best. I mean, everyone playing the best they can, and a few new bats, a few new arms never hurts a team in this position.
We shall see how they fare. Stallions coming off a walk-off win against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. That was on Wednesday night, 8-7. Eddie Yaman, the first baseman tonight, was the hero in that one. Hit a grand slam in the 8th inning to tie the game at 7s before the leadoff hitter tonight, Mario Travella, stole home in the bottom of the 9th for the Stallions' second walk-off win of the year.
That has to be one of the most electrifying games I've watched behind the scenes, no doubt. From start to end, it really just built up as inning per inning, Dan.
Also a big momentum builder for this team as well, who were slumping coming into that Watertown game, 1-3-1 in their last 5. Nick Pettit is ready to go. We've got baseball here from Cantide Field. First pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Pettit on the year, like we said, a 1-2-0. In his last game, though, 5 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit, faced 16 batters, and had 4 strikeouts.
Jeff Hadson-Taylor, the shortstop tonight, is in the box for Watertown. He's batting .241 this season through 25 games. Here's the 1-1. That one just misses down low. Nate Manley doing the catching tonight. We saw in the game before Josh Blackmore, and then the game before that, it was Eddie Yaman. So a consistent rotation between the guys behind the dish, and you really can't tell any noticeable difference between the 3 of them because they're just that good.
That is one of the Stallions' strongest assets on this team, is having 3, not just 1, not just 2, but 3 catchers behind the plate that really are a brick wall on defense and really an asset on offense.
This one's hit to the right side. Travella dives. He'll not be able to make the play. It's a leadoff single here for Jeff Hadson-Taylor.
Hudson-Taylor on first definitely should be a worry for Manley. He leads the team with 20 stolen bases. The reason he bats number 1.
That'll bring up Dylan Wannott, the left fielder. Wannott is a lefty, so a little bit of a disadvantage here for Nick Pettit, coming into this game batting .260 on the year. First game for the Rapids since all the way on July 8th. That was a 12-4 loss against Utica on Monday of this week. This one's hit out into center field. Bach going back, grabs it a couple steps short of the track for out number 1.
Like we see in Bach in center field, consistently just gliding to the ball, just getting where he needs to be, and just making it easy for himself. He's in center field, left field, right field, he's all over. But game by game, he just makes it less trouble than it has to be.
So with one out and a runner at first, it'll bring in Nick Bergamoto. Bergamoto coming into this game, a 281 hitter. He's over at second tonight. First pitch to him is inside for ball one.
Bergamoto, one of the best disciplined batters that we've seen in a long time. In his last 32 at-bats, Dan has only struck out once. So really does not go down with 3 strikes happy.
Going over to second is Hudson Taylor. It's grounded back to Pettit. He'll take it over to first for out number 2. The hit and run does work, prevents the double play.
Smart there by the Rapids for that hit and run, but in reality, that steal was going to come, Dan. Like we said, 21 stolen bases. The Rapids lead the East Division of the PGCBL with 85 on the year, so expect them to run a lot today, and Manly's got to know that coming into this game.
And now it'll bring up another disciplined hitter in Ryan Kramer, the first baseman.
Kramer this year, 283, 7 doubles, 4 home runs, 23 RBIs. He's a monster at the plate.
And the thing that sticks out to you, we went 0 for 1 in the last game that the Rapids had against the Blue Sox, but 3 walks in that one. Is not going to chase a pitch unless he likes it.
So 7 doubles, 4 home runs, and 3 walks. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
He also had a 3-run home run against the Stallions, which gave Watertown the lead last Saturday night. Pettit finds the zone for strike 1.
One of Pettit's best assets, Dan, is locating that strike, the strike 1 or the strike 2, always putting himself in the position that he doesn't have to fight back, doesn't have to beg for a strike.
Here's the 1-1. Gets Kramer swinging for strike 2. Kramer leads the PGCBL in RBIs and is tied for home runs with 4. His 4th coming against the Stallions less than a week ago. Runner at second is Hudson Taylor. There's 2 outs in a 1-2 count. Kramer's going to want to step out. Going over to third is Hudson Taylor. This one's lined to left center field. It will get down. Another hit and run to perfection, and early on it's 1-0 Rapids.
Hit and run, hit and run. They did it twice in just that top of the first. You got to expect it way more than that. Pettit got to give an extra look, maybe another look to just give Manly that fighting shot. 21 stolen bases. It's expected.
Well, and also that pitch from Pettit wasn't the most competitive in a 1-2 count, left the off speed in the middle of the zone. So with 2 outs and a run across, it'll bring up Jake Blasi. He pops this one over to Hot at short, and he's got it for out number 3. So Pettit limits the damage, but the Rapids take a 1-0 lead here in the first. bottom half of the first here from Cantine Field. Rapids jumping ahead in the top half. A little hit and run played at Jeff Hadson Taylor, the shortstop, to give them a 1-0 lead. But the Stallions lineup from the top down more than equal to the task to tie this game up.
Yeah, no doubt. We talked to Eddie Yaman after that monstrous grand slam 2 nights ago, and he told us that the team is finally getting on board with hit after hit, batter after batter, and not leaving the runners on base. The runners on base is one of the Stallions' most liabilities.
100%. Why don't we take a look now at the Stallions' batting lineup tonight? Mario Trivella leads off for the first time in a few games. Then it's Nate Manley in the two-hole. He's been the solidified two-hole guy for a few days now. Then it's Justin Ford. Eddie Yaman cleaning up, gets a promotion from 5th to 4th. Then it's Matt McIntyre in the 5-hole. Peyton Bonds making his debut down at 6. Byram Hott in the 7th hole, and Ryan Rescio along with Tyler Bach to finish things out. And the arm they're going to go against is Kyle Roper. First pitch to Trivella, misses high and outside for ball 1.
Roper, the 6'2", 190 rising junior at SUNY Oneonta, has an iffy college resume. In 2022, a 4.53 with 24 Ks. 2023, 11.41 with 27 Ks. And 2024, a 7.71 with 34 Ks. So each year the strikeouts are improving. The ERA is sitting up and down.
Had 11 appearances this past year, but never registered a win, an 0-6 record. The 1-1 finds the zone. It's 1-2. Roper, 39 2/3 innings pitched this past season, giving up 34 earned runs. First appearance for the Rapids this season. That one misses on the inside. It's 2-2.
Dan, it's so interesting when you look at each of the pitchers and how many innings they throw. Each team really strategizes different, because if you look at our team, Nick Petta has the most innings pitched with 23 1/3, 39 1/2, 39 1/3, 15, 14 more innings. It's a lot.
The 2-2. Trevella's worked himself into a leadoff full count. Trivella, the hero, stole home to win the Stallions the game against Mohawk Valley on Wednesday. Hits this one into right center field. Morabito's moving over, and he's got it for out number 1.
Trivella getting back into the works of things in the leadoff spot, Dan. And I expected a few at-bats to get really back to that prime Trivella that we saw a few games ago.
With 1 out here in the bottom of the first, Nate Manley will step in. He has the best average on the team right now, sporting a 385 and went 2 for 3 against the Diamond Dogs 2 days ago.
Yeah, Manley almost a guaranteed hit or on base each at-bat. Every time I see him bat, he's on base.
He takes upstairs for ball 1. Along with his 2 singles, also had 2 runs and 2 walks on Wednesday night. That one finds the zone. It's 1-1.
The Watertown Rapids is one of the hottest teams in the past 10 games. That's 7-3. The only team better in the last 10, the Mohawks at 8-2.
Off-speed misses, and you talk about that. The Stallions 5-4-1 in their last 10. Not their worst last 10 split. That was their worst coming into Wednesday when they were 4-5-1 in their last 10. Here's the 2-1 to Manley. It misses down low. And you talk about Manley's plate discipline. His on-base percentage is at 500, slugging also at 500. Leads him to a 1 OPS. He hits that one into center field. Morabito is under it once again. And Manley is retired for out number 2.
Both Manley and Trivella having the same idea with that outside pitch, is trying to take it the other way.
With 2 outs, Justin Ford will come to the dish. He's just 1 tick below Nate Manley for leading an average, having a 384. He also set up the Stallions with the bases loaded on Wednesday night, giving Eddie Yaman the opportunity to tie the game at 7. First pitch to him misses.
Ford is one of those batters that he's in the 3 spot because he is at his best when he has runners in scoring position, second, third, or even a man on first.
Swings through that one for strike 1. It's pretty sick when you have back-to-back 385 hitters in your lineup for the Stallions, especially at 2 and 3. Fouls that one off to the right side.
It almost gives you a sense of like confidence as a coach, knowing one of these guys is getting on base.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The Ford's on-base percentage, .483. Here's the 1-2. Misses outside, and then you combine his slugging at .507, gives him an OPS of .990.
Almost as effective there as Nate Manley. So close.
2-2, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Ford's worked himself into a full count. It's the second full count of this inning. The payoff from Roper. Gets him looking for strike 3. And Kyle Roper's first PGCBL inning pitched. He takes the Stallions down 1-2-3. Rapids keep a 1-0 lead as we head to the second. Yep. Top half of the second here from Canton Field. Dan Chalm with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto. Rapids leading 1-0 after a little bit of small ball. Gave them an early 1-run lead in the first.
Baseball is a game of small ball, Dan, and the Rapids really just took advantage of it in that top of the first. They got one of their runners with 21 stolen bases, and when you have that, you take advantage of it.
Peyton Shipman, the right fielder, will lead things off here for the Rapids in the top half of the second. Hits that one to Hot. He makes a nice play for out number 1.
It's almost like Hot double jump there. It's like he jumped a second too early and then had to readjust and get up there again. But just a great play by Hot.
He looked like Super Mario out there.
The double jump.
Exactly. So with 1 out here in the second, it'll bring up the catcher Connor Sackett. That one finds the zone for strike 1. Sackett so far this season batting .154 through 13 games. Hasn't been that effective for the Rapids, but he needs to be in there as Watertown very short on catchers.
Almost the opposite problem of what the Stallions have. They only have 2. They have Tyler Jacobson, the 5'10", 185 Mississippi College, and then they have Connor Sackett, the 6'3", 195 Butler University. Only 2.
Pettit misses down low, and when you don't have that depth, you need to be rotating every single day. It's not like the Stallions where they can throw Eddie Yaman over at first and still have Josh Blackmore on the bench ready to go. Here's the 2-1. This is on the inside. 3-1 count here to Connor Sackett.
The Stallions catchers are so fierce and so projectile with what they do. You could put one at DH, one at catcher, and one at first base and be sufficient enough.
That one's fouled off to the right side. It actually goes off the Watertown team bus. So a full count here with one out in the top of the second.
Stallions nor the Rapids are going down easy, pitcher or batter on the battle.
Here's the payoff from Pettit. Grounded foul. And funny enough, Justin Ford's two-run home run up in Amsterdam on Tuesday night went off the Stallions team bus. So now it's like 2 times where a ball has gone off the team bus in nearly 3 games. The payoff. Grounded to the left side. McIntyre Fields throws across the diamond. It's in time.
You could just see how flexible and how he moves Eddie Yaman at first, having that catcher-ish thing with it, where he just extends, and just flexibility is absurd.
With 2 outs here in this second, Mason Collins, the DH, is going to dig in. Collins is a two-way guy, has pitched 40-plus innings for this Watertown team, while also batting .293.
Collins has a comparison in a way to Shohei Ohtani, and we'll tell you why. He leads the PGCBL in strikeouts with 36. He leads the PGCBL, or ties, with Drew Nelson out of Amsterdam with wins, and he's batting at .293 with a home run and 9 RBIs. You don't see that a lot in the PGCBL. 1 or 2 guys max.
Not at all.
Other comparison could be Zach Eldred out of Amsterdam. Another comparison.
Collins in an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Hit out into center field, straight to Tyler Bach. Rapids go down 1-2-3 here in the top half of the second. Stallions coming to bat. Eddie Yaman, the hero from Wednesday, will lead things off. Stay with us. Back here in the bottom half of the second, Dan Schaum with you, alongside A.J. DiBenedetto. And the man that's going to lead things off for Saugerties here in the bottom half of the second is the hero from Wednesday night. That's Eddie Yaman.
Yeah, Eddie Yaman, the hero of that game. Really can't even say it much more than that. But on the year, his stats are not telling the full story. You look at his stats, he's batting a .200. 2 doubles, a home run, 10 RBIs, and 4 walks. And this is only game 4 or 5 for him throughout the season.
Game 7.
Oh, game 7, sorry. Throughout the season. These stats are hard to do in 7 games. The average is not the whole overlook of it.
Average definitely does not reflect the entire season for Eddie Yaman so far. I think 10 RBIs through 6 games is more than impressive.
Beyond impressive.
Absolutely smoked a ball to center field on Wednesday night. It was a no-doubter over the "We're Having Fun Matters" sign in right center field. That tied the game at 7 and eventually gave the Stallions the win. He fouls off the first pitch here from Roper.
We had a few people in the Pac Cub broadcast booth, I don't want to say call it, but have a sense of prediction with it.
That one misses off the outside. The grand slam by Yaman on Wednesday night was the first for the Stallions this season. And it was also his first home run. He fouls that one off to the right side. Yaman, also a guy who had 13 home runs this past season at Dayton, so is known for his power as he heads to LSU next season.
Dan, you were thinking exactly what I was thinking. I was just about to say, that one home run, he had 13 at Dayton. Powerful hitter.
The 1-2. Yaman stays alive. Count will stay at 1-2. And that clip of him hitting the home run got nearly 10,000 views on Twitter. The LSU fan base loving it, seeing what they're going to get out of Eddie Yaman next year. The 1-2. Off-speed misses upstairs. We've seen Roper struggle with that off-speed pitch and miss high multiple times so far.
It's more of like a slurve than a curve. It really doesn't have much vertical drop to it, more of a horizontal spin.
2-2. See it again right there. It misses upstairs, and the count will go full. Last time the count was full for Eddie Yaman, had the grand slam.
Just missing that 2 outs part right on the board.
He'll take on the outside. It's a leadoff walk here for Eddie Yaman and the first base runner of the game for the Stallions.
That's his 5th walk in just 7 games of play. A great batter, but even a better batter with discipline.
It'll bring up Matt McIntyre, the third baseman. He's batting in the 5-hole tonight. McIntyre batting .258 coming into this game. Has been on a little bit of a slide as of late. Fouls that one off to the right side.
McIntyre on the length of a little bit of a struggle. We look at his high school and college career, never batted below a 300. First time being now. He's batting a .257 with 2 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, and 12 RBIs.
The 0-1 misses inside. Yaman is also a speedy guy over there at first. Does have a stolen base this season, so maybe we'll see some of the rapid strategy used on themselves. 1-1. Hit to the right side. It goes off of Yaman. So he will be out. It's a dead ball. The most important thing is that Eddie Yaman is okay, as that ball got him right off the ankle.
Just looking at it, you never usually see that. Looks like he's in a little bit of discomfort, hoping that everything is A-okay with him. But that's the first time that we've seen that this year, Dan, where the ball has hit a player in fair territory.
And I think he was more upset, actually, about being out than the pain that just hit his ankle. He's that much of a competitor. It'll bring up Peyton Bonds here in his first at-bat for the Stallions. Of course, Barry Bonds' nephew, joining the team today. And you just look at his frame, AJ. This is a guy that can absolutely mash at the plate. 6'5", 220.
Yeah, he's a monster build, great physique. Just looking to get his first at-bat being a success.
Batted .267 at Campbell this past season. Transferred to Rutgers in the offseason, so he'll be a Scarlet Knight this upcoming spring. Fouls that one off to the right side. Kramer able to make a play. He's under it and has got it for out number 2.
First at-bat for the Stallions, not exactly what he wanted there, but again, first at-bat, he's not in midseason form. It is summer ball, so it's going to take a few at-bats to get right back into that groove.
With 2 outs, it'll bring up Byram Hott. This is the last time that Hott is going to don a Stallions uniform, at least this summer, his last game for the organization.
One of the players that Saugerties appreciates a lot came in here and just played baseball and really made it fun for all the Saugerties entertainment and all of that.
He's been a core part of this lineup, batting .271. That one gets away. McIntyre is going to go over to second. Error there on Kyle Roper.
We've seen that a lot the past 2 games, Dan. We saw that this is the 3rd time, if I remember correctly, the past 2 games where we've seen the pitcher miscommunicate with the first baseman and overthrow it, underthrow it, when there's not really a need. 2 outs on the board, really focus on the batter.
So with 2 outs, first runner in scoring position in this game for the Stallions. McIntyre now at second off of Roper's error. Hot at the plate. Here's his first pitch. Misses down low. Hot, you just run through his Stallions stat line. 5 doubles, a home run, 16 RBIs. Has been really effective for the squad. And got off to a hot start, but since then has slowed down a little bit.
One of the high 300 hitters about 2 weeks ago came in the past 10 to 14 days, a little bit of a struggle. Now he's at 271. Like you said, the stats, very impressive, but kindling down, I should say in best words.
Hits this one to the left side. Runge throws to first. Going to be a tough pick. Kramer can't come up with it. McIntyre is waved home, and the Stallions are going to tie this game off the second error in this inning for the Rapids.
A much-needed run, and a run is a run no matter what way it comes. The Stallions needed that to get on board, see a run, and really build off of it.
It'll be an E5 tagged to Trey Runge over there at third. Second error of the inning for the Rapids. That would have never happened if Roper didn't try and pick off McIntyre at first. And it just shows put the ball in play and good things will happen.
Couldn't have said it better.
With 2 outs, Ryan Rescio will step in. He's the DH tonight and takes a first pitch strike.
Ryan Rescio in the past 7 days is the hottest hitter for the Stallions. 9 hits, batting a .409 the past 7. 2 of those being a double, 1 of them being a triple.
Here's the 0-1. Fouled back. You mentioned the doubles and the triples. He went 4 for 5 against Mohawk Valley on Wednesday night and had a double and a triple along with an RBI and a run scored.
It's nice to see because he has been on the struggling path a little bit this season, and it's really nice to see him back where his potential is.
Has the average up to 275. The 0-2 misses on the outside corner. It's 1-2.
Anything in the outfield will get the speedy hot around third and will put the Stallions up 2-1 in the bottom of the second.
The 1-2. Misses down low. Sackett keeps it close. Doesn't allow Hot to go to third. Tied at 1 here in the bottom half of the second. Rescio trying to give the Stallions an early lead. Here's the 2-2. Foul back.
An immense battle between the pitchers of Watertown and the hitters of the Stallions. It's really, they're not going down at a battle. Most of these at-bats, 2-2, 3-2, and we're going to continue to see that as the game goes through.
So now a 2-2 count. There's 2 outs. Hot is over at second in the bottom half of the second. Roper deals. That's now 3 straight pitches that Rescio has fouled off.
Really shows you that Rescio seeing the ball like a volleyball right now, not like a baseball. He's seeing it bigger than it appears, and it's really all about batter perception, one that Rescio is higher up in right now.
The 2-2. Roper tried to go with the fastball, but Rescio is able to fight it off once again.
Rescio is right below that. Just needs to level out that swing a tiny bit, and right there, good contact will be made.
Here's the 2-2. This one is hit to the left side, right back to Runge. Chugging to first is Rescio. It's another error. Coming home to score is Hot. Back-to-back balls hit over to Runge. He can't come up with, and it's quickly 2-1 Stallions.
We just talked about that, Dan, where putting the ball in play makes good things happen. That's 2 times of the ball being put in play to the same spot and 2 errors being made, allowing 2 runs to be scored. That's the main thing.
Back-to-back E5s has given the Stallions a 2-1 lead. 3 errors in this inning for the Rapids. It'll bring Tyler Bach, the 9-hole hitter. And, AJ, we talked about this before the game. It's kind of like you have two leadoff hitters now with Tyler Bach in the 9-hole and Mario Trivella at 1.
Yeah, it's really a great asset to the Stallions. If you look at it, two leadoffs, you get Bach on, it's just added speed.
Hits this one into left field. Juan is under it, and he's got it for out number 3. But the Stallions are able to take the lead here in the second off of 3 errors from the Rapids. It's 2-1 as we head to the third. Stallions take the lead in that bottom half of the second off of 3 errors, highlighted off back-to-back E5s by third baseman Trey Runge. Errors have been a problem for the Stallions as of late, AJ. They had 7 in just their last 2 games coming into this one. If you really want to zoom out a little bit more, 14 in their last 3. But the Rapids struggling here tonight.
Yeah, it's nice to be on the other side of the error trouble for sure. No errors for the Stallions through 2 so far. 3 for the Rapids through 2. And it's really just putting the ball in play, and the errors are possible. No one is in the MLB, so errors are going to be a liability for most teams throughout the PGCBL.
That's the 9-hole hitter Trey Runge, the third baseman who did commit both of those errors over at third. He's trying to battle back here after putting his team down 2-1. Pettit's dealt 2 straight balls. It's 2-0. Finds the zone there for strike 1.
Pettit, one of the pitchers on the Stallions that will go more than 3 or 4 innings in a start, and we've seen it last time that he went to Mohawk Valley, pitched 5 innings, 1 hit allowed, 4 Ks.
This one's hit right over to Yaman. He'll pick it up and step on first for out number 1.
That was a weird roller. It looked like right off the top of the bat, and looked like it was originally foul and then came back into play there.
So Runge is retired, and with 1 out here in the top half of the third, it'll bring up the center fielder Dominic Morabito.
Morabito, one of the speedy guys on the team as well in the season, batting a .219, 10 RBIs, 7 walks. He struck out 21 times, so that is a focus right there, but also 13 stolen bases, so a similar second leadoff guy for the Rapids.
First pitch to him, he tries to lay down bunt. It will go foul. Went 1 for 3 against the Stallions last Saturday. And then in his most recent game against the Dragons, came in as a pinch runner and got caught stealing. Here's the 0-1. That one's hit right to McIntyre. He'll throw across the diamond. Nice stretch by Yaman, and Morabito is retired.
McIntyre playing a really good spot at third. We saw Resio at third. We saw Marcano at third. And really doing a job at third, filling the spot to the greatest extent.
Yeah, with Rich Rodriguez out of the lineup, the Stallions scraping for some depth at the third baseman position, and McIntyre doing a great job so far filling that hole. Top of the lineup here for the Rapids, it'll be Jeff Hadson-Taylor. started off this game with a single and would eventually come around to score.
This is one of the batters that Pettit does not want on the base path because he does cause havoc to the pitcher's mindset as well.
Pettit's retired 5 straight on the cusp of 6th and looking for his first strikeout of the day here in an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Grounded to the left side, McIntyre once again fields, throws to first, in time. Nice play over there by McIntyre. Pettit has retired the last 6 Rapids batters as we head to the bottom of the third. Stallions leading by 1. Bottom of the third here at Cantine Field. Stallions clinging to a 2-1 lead. Dan Chown with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto, and it'll be the top of the lineup once again to start off this bottom half of the third.
It's always a great thing to hear when the top of the order is up, or anyone in the order is up, because the Stallions from 1 to 9 all have effective hitters, no matter who leads off.
Mario Trivella will be the man to lead off of this inning. Flew out into center field in the first. Roper has done a nice job on the mound, but his defense has plagued him with 3 errors.
Yeah, the defense definitely giving him struggles, but we talked about his success on the strikeouts and his improving of the ERA throughout his college career, and he's having a great first start for the Rapids against the Stallions.
Here's the first pitch to Trivella, misses down low for ball 1. Trivella, in his first at-bat, flew out into center field. Fouls that one off, and it's quickly 1-1. We haven't seen Trivella lead off in a few games. AJ was nursing that right hamstring injury when he came out of the game. Last game that he was in the 1 hole, you got to go back a little while, all the way back against Albany in the second game of that doubleheader in which the Stallions won 9-0.
Yeah, needed to nurse that hamstring because if you don't nurse it, you're potentially affecting your college season coming up.
The 2-1. Takes it down low. It's now 3-1. Nice night here at Cantine Field for some baseball. Around 80 degrees with overcast. Trivella hits that one into center field. Morbido's going back. He's on the track, and he's got it for out number 1.
Trivella hit in the same spot, just at a further distance, about 5 feet from that 390 sign in center field. Got all of it on the bat, just not enough.
Furthest part of the ballpark right there. And actually, the way it's set up here at Cantine, there's a little wedge in the center field wall, so that ball was hit nearly right into that. With 1 out here in the bottom of the third, Nate Manley will step in. Manley, similar to Trivella, flew out into center field in his first at-bat.
Dan, if you look at the split between the fastball and curveball from Roper, not really falling for a strike on the curveball end today, really having struggles below 20% at least on the strikeout rate.
Yeah, he's been trying to pull that curveball across the zone against the righties, but he's ended up missing upstairs. Locates that one, and it's 1-2. The pitch to Manley. Misses off the outside. Roper only has a single strikeout in this game. That came to Justin Ford, who's on deck in the first. The 2-2. Hit to the left side. Runge has got it this time. Throws to first. And after back-to-back errors, Trey Runge is able to wipe that away and makes the play for out number 2.
Third time is the charm. Messed up on the first two, but did get the third. That was roped by Manley. Nothing to be ashamed of on that swing.
And those are the type of balls where you have to convince yourself, hey, that one was a hit. I did hit the ball well. I made nice contact. And just stay positive heading into your next AB. First pitch here to Justin Ford misses outside. Ford got caught looking in a full count to end the first inning.
Dan, we take a look at July 4th. 10 players in the 300 average range. We take it to July 12th.
Oh, nice play over there by Runge for out number 3. So after he committed 2 errors in the second, makes back-to-back plays to end the third, we head to the fourth. Stallions still leading by 1. Top half of the fourth, and it's a great time to look at our Pac Cub in-game stats so far. Stallions, of course, leading 2-1. Both teams tied with 2 hits. Watertown having the only strikeout of this game. And AJ, that's something that's surprising for Nick Pettit on the mound. There's only 4 strikeouts off of leading the entire PGCBL in Ks.
Yeah, can't even complain about him having no strikeouts on the day, but he is at 31 on the season, still tied for 4th. The number 1 on the strikeouts is Mason Collins of the Watertown Rapids at 36.
He's the DH tonight.
Yes. So looking at it, Pettit looking to get a few strikeouts here to keep his name in that race.
Dylan Wannett will lead things off here in the fourth. Wannett flew out to center field in his first plate appearance, all the way back in the first. 2-1 game here at Cantine Field. Stallions taking the lead off of 2 errors by Trey Runge at third in the bottom half of the second. First pitch from Pettit is in there for strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Chop to the right side. Yaman grabs it, and he'll just tag out Wannett for out number 1.
What a smart play there by Yaman. Just tagging the player instead of waiting that extra second to just move the foot to the base. If he did go with the foot option to step on the base, he probably would have been safe. Yaman saving it and getting it out right there.
It'll bring up Nick Bergamoto, the second baseman. Bergamoto grounded right back to Pettit. That was in the first for the second out of the inning. The 1-0. Chop foul. And you look at this Rapids lineup, 1 through 10. They've only got one hitter who's batting above 300. That's Jake Blasi, the extra hitter.
Yeah, Blasi on the season at 377. Really an effective hitter in that Rapids lineup.
Bergamoto's close, batting 281 coming into this game. Here's the 1-1. Misses on the inside. Watertown as a whole this season, coming into this game, batting a 241. Here's the 2-1. That one misses downstairs. Stallions, in comparison, batting 281, so nearly 40 points higher. Here's the 2-2. Misses upstairs, excuse me. It was 3-2, so first walk of the ball game here for Bergamoto.
And we talked about Bergamoto's discipline, Dan. Just an absolute great job at the plate.
He's not one of the speedy guys on this Watertown team, though. Only 2 stolen bases. We did see Watertown put in motion Hadson Taylor when he was on base in the first, and it allowed them to get their first run of the ball game. Ryan Kramer at the dish here for the Rapids. Swings through that one for strike 1.
Kramer there, you can just see in the swing, he has that powerful swing, Dan, that if he does make contact with it, it's going to go places. And it's proven with that 4 home runs tied for first in the PGCBL.
Big lead there for Bergamoto. Pettit will check up on him. 0-1 count here to the cleanup hitter Ryan Kramer, who had the RBI single, which put the Rapids ahead 1-0 in the first. Here's the 0-1. Pettit's got him chasing twice, and now a quick 0-2 count.
Pettit at an unlimited amount of options now with whatever pitch he wants to throw. He threw that slider twice to get Kramer. Maybe throw it a third time to catch him off guard. Maybe he's not expecting it.
Bergamoto is at first. Kramer at the dish. Pettit's going to step off. The 0-2. Kramer's able to stay alive and will keep it at 0-2. Here's the pitch. Misses down low. First ball of the day gets past Manley, and going over to second is Bergamoto.
Just an uncoordinated thing there between Pettit and Manley. I'm not 100% sure Manley totally expected. He kind of looked confused, waited that millisecond after the ball went by. I think he thought it was right at his knees, and then noticed it went behind.
First pass ball of the day for Nate Manley. He's been superb behind the dish. Can't criticize him all too much. It's a 1-2 count here to Kramer. Pettit set steals. Gets Kramer swinging. Drop third strike. Manley will throw down to first. Going over to third is Bergamoto, so it's a productive out number 2 here for the Rapids.
A productive out, but Pettit does seem to get his first strikeout of the day, putting him at 32. 4 behind Mason Collins, sitting at 36.
So Jake Blasi will step in. Perfect opportunity for him to tie up this game. Blasi popped up over to Byram Hott at short in his first plate appearance. First pitch to him misses on the outside.
If you look at Blasi's swing, Dan, just that he starts very close feet towards the end of the box and puts all of his weight going forward.
Fouls that one off to the left side. Blasi is the only hitter in this Rapids lineup who is batting 300 plus, 377 coming into this game through 17 contests. Here's the 1-1. He fouls that one off, and now Pettit is just one strike away from getting out of this inning.
Pettit looking for that last strike, and he will have a clean 4 innings if he does get this last out, Dan. But he needs to get it now. The count's in his hands.
Bergamoto at third. Here's the 1-2 to Blosey. It's hit to Trivella. He's going to try and make a nice play. In time! Wow, Mario Trivella, show off the leather. He makes a great spinning move right there to get Blosey for out number 3.
From that play from Trivella to Yaman's split like he was doing a gymnastics trick, really just settling and impressive to watch. It's not the first time we've seen the Trivella-Rodriguez mix making a great amount of hard plays.
So Trivella steals a run there from Bergamoto and the Rapids. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. Stallions still leading by 1. Back here in the bottom half of the 4th, Mario Trivella stealing a runaway from the Rapids in the top half. And that's something we haven't seen from this squad in the last 3 games with 14 errors, really getting them back in the right direction right there.
It's good to see one finally fall through, and that was a time up 1, not a moment where you needed much more.
Eddie Yaman will start off this bottom half of the 4th. Hits that one foul to the right side. Yaman walked to start off the 2nd, and then he would actually be called out over at first after a dead ball, but lines this one into left field. It's a leadoff base hit for Eddie Yaman.
Finds himself on base 2 out of those 2 times, and he's going to second.
He's going to be out there by a mile. Not sure what Eddie Yaman was thinking there. It will still go down as a hit, but tried to extend it into a double, but it didn't work out.
I'm not really 100% sure what the plan was. I think he thought there was more difference between Kramer and the ball when it got away from all of them, but costly little mistake there by Yaman.
So with 1 out, it'll bring up Matt McIntyre. He was the first run to score in this game for Saugerties. Pops this one up on the infield. Bergamoto under it. 2 quick outs here in the bottom half of the 4th.
This game going at an extremely fast pace, Dan. If you look at it, both pitchers just having a great motion and just great leverage to each of the batters they face.
Peyton Bonds will step in for his second at-bat as a Stallion. Popped out over to first base in the 2nd inning. First pitch to him, misses outside. A lot of hype around this guy, of course, as he is the nephew of Barry Bonds, but moreover that he is going to Rutgers for his sophomore season after a successful freshman campaign down at Campbell.
Yeah, a great program to go to just going into your sophomore year. A lot to live up to. And a lot that's going on for him. A 6'5", 225-pound left fielder, center fielder. It's really the physique you're looking for.
Great plate discipline as well. Has worked himself into a 3-0 count.
Roper really having trouble with that slurve or curve, Dan. Really not getting into that strike zone where the umpire is given a chance to call a strike.
Bonds will take the pitch there at the knees. It's 3-1. The 3-1. Rocks that one into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. You see the power off of Peyton Bond's bat. It's a 2-out base knock for him, his first as a Stallion.
That flew off the bat. Third baseman just watched it go over his head there, and it's a great start. Second at bat, getting a single, starting off hot. It's exactly what you need.
Byram Hott will step in here with 2 outs in the bottom half of the fourth. Like we mentioned, it's Hott's last game as a Stallion. He's also batted in the 7-hole for the last 3 matchups. Fouls that one off for strike 1. Lots of potential with this guy going to Louisville next season through the Pac Hub transfer portal. But just a time for him to reset before going down there next season. Bonds is at first. It's an 0-1 count here to Byram Hott. The pitch. Hott swinging for the fences right there, and we've seen that a lot from him this season. Over-swinging, overextending, and trying to hit for power over contact.
Sometimes he overcompensates the at-bat in a way where he's swinging for the fences where let the bat do the job.
The 0-2. Hott pops this one up on the infield. We'll see who takes it. It'll end up being Hudson Taylor for out number 3. So despite the Stallions having 2 singles here in the bottom of the fourth, they're unable to plate anything. We head to the 5th. He's still up by 1. Top half of the 5th, Dan Shalom with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto. First, Dallas Hot Wieners called to the bullpen of this ball game. Derek Constance comes in relief for Nick Pettit.
Yeah, Constance coming in relief for Pettit. On the season, he's no wins, just 1 loss. He has a 5.40 ERA in 5 games. He's pitched 8 1/3 inning, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks, and gave up 13 hits.
Last appearance was against Watertown, and that one was credited with the loss after 3 1/3 innings pitched. 2 earned runs, 5 hits, a strikeout, 14 batters faced. Looks to change his fortunes. First batter that he faces here will be Peyton Shipman, the right fielder.
Shipman, on the day so far, lined out to the shortstop, Byram hop on that double jump, out.
Constance misses down low, is heading to Stony Brook next year, and the fastball comes in around 92 miles per hour.
Can't forget to mention he did just graduate high school. So still 18, throwing 92, high hopes.
You see the velo there, misses down low. It's 2-0. No swing there, 3-0 count to Peyton Shipman. You look at the Stallions staff as a whole sporting a 3.38 ERA. That is first in the entire PGCBL as the 3-0 is fouled off. But they're at risk of falling out of that spot for the first time this season. The Mohawks sit at 3.39, second in the league. So as of right now, they would still keep it, but things have been below average as of late for the staff. Constance misses there. It's a 5-pitch walk to start off his relief outing.
Dan, on the season overall, taking a closer look, 160 walks on the season so far. That's before coming into the game, and that was the second walk of the game. Stallions having trouble with the walks, giving up free runners on base that a hit can allow them to score unnecessarily.
Connor Sackett will step in here for the Rapids with nobody out and a runner over at first. Sackett grounded out over to McIntyre in his first at-bat. That one catches Manley down low. He's just going to take a second.
Manley really getting the bird of it today. Had 2 times where he's gotten hit on the arm, and I could be the first one to tell you, Dan, it's not the most pleasant feeling. It's a good 30-second stinger for sure.
He's a warrior, though. Nothing is going to take him out of this game and has been one of the most prolific players on the Stallions team throughout the season so far. Rapids searching to tie up this game here in the top half of the 5th. They have Peyton Shipman over at first. 5 stolen bases on the year. We'll see if they decide to put him in motion. Sackett will step back in. A 1 count. Constance sets deals. Misses on the outside, struggling with some control to start this outing. 7 out of his first 9 pitches have been balls.
Constance needs to get his strike ball location right on now before it gets too late.
This one's chopped over to McIntyre. He'll field it, but they're going to call it foul.
I want to say it's more of a smart play by McIntyre, just trying his best to keep it foul because that's a hard play to make, especially with a batter with speed.
1-2 count here to Connor Sackett. He's only gotten 3 strikeouts on the season through 13 games, trying to avoid number 4. That one gets past Manley. Moving over to second is Shipman. Manley didn't have a chance on that one. It'll go down as a wild pitch.
Yeah, Constance just trying his best to find that location. Because we talked about the walks problems, Dan, and Stallions have trouble refiguring it out when they can't figure it out. Takes an inning or 2 to lock it back in.
Shipman is now in scoring position. It's the 3rd runner in scoring position of this game for the Rapids. This one is flared into center field. Bach is going to field it on a hop. It will get down. Throws it in time. So now there'll be runners at the corners with nobody out.
Not the greatest thing that you want to happen in that scenario, Dan, but Bach doing a great job just keeping it in front of him. He could have possibly dove on it, but if he did, it'd be giving up a triple and a run to tie up the game. And still, no outs on the board.
So with nobody out and runners at the corners, Mason Collins, the DH, will step in. Probably the last guy that you want up in this scenario if you're the Stallions. They're going to throw Sackett in motion, but he will have to go back off the foul ball.
See, Dan, now the question becomes your second best average hitter in the lineup today, right below 300, batting 8th. The explanation for that, unknown.
We'll see if they send Sackett over to second once again. It's an 0-1 count. He will go. This one is chopped to Hot. He's going to have a chance for a perfect double play.
That really couldn't have landed much better.
A run will score on the double play, but the Stallions more than willing to trade 2 outs for 1 run. It's 2-2. They'll go down as 6-3. Even with Sackett in motion over there at first, the ball was hit legitimately right to second base where Hot, all he had to do was glove it and throw to first. Tied at 2 here in the top half of the 5th. Trey Runge, the third baseman, stepping in.
Dan, if you go into that last at-bat, if he didn't steal, Hot wouldn't have been momentum going to second base there. That could have possibly been a single.
That one misses upstairs. One 0 count here to Trey Runge. Fouls that one back. The story for Runge in this ball game is he put his team down early in the second, had back-to-back E5s, which allowed the Stallions to plate 2 runs. Both of those go down as unearned. Here's the 1-1. Misses down low. It's 2-1.
That double play definitely gave Constance a great amount of confidence to get this last out and forget about this inning as a whole.
Manley does a nice job framing that one, and it's quickly 2-2. Two outs here in the top half of the 5th. That one is fouled off by Runge. We'll keep it at 2-2.
Runge looking to revenge for his mistakes in the first inning. Like you said, Dan, 2 errors. One allowing a run for them to go down.
2-2. Misses outside, and the count will go full. The payoff is hit over to Trivella. He'll field, throw to first. It's in time for out number 3. Constance does a nice job limiting the damage here in the top half of the 5th, but the Rapids tie it up at 2 as we head to the home half. Stay with us. Back here in the bottom half of the 5th, Dan Shallon with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto. Tied at 2s as we head to the bottom half of this 5th, in which has been a messy game for the Rapids. And the Stallions, despite having 2 runs on the board, really haven't seemed that menacing offensively just yet.
No, they took advantage of the errors and they scored on the opportunities that presented. But if you look at it on the hits, only 4 hits through 4 innings so far for the Stallions against a pitcher's first start this summer. They got to take more advantage of it.
Ryan Resio will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 5th. He smokes that one into left field, going back, and it is wanted, and he's got it a couple steps short of the track. But that ball right there pays tribute to how Resio's been hitting it lately.
Yeah, Resio, like we said, before coming to this game, a 409, 9 hits.
Has a single in this one as well.
Yeah, 10 hits, sorry. Now 10 hits, and he's really just keeps on hitting the ball and crushing it.
Tyler Bach will step in here with one out. Bach flew out over to left in his first plate appearance, that coming in the bottom half of the second. First pitch to him misses upstairs. Two straight balls here to Tyler Bach.
Bach getting on just gives the Stallions such an advantage just to start to the top of the lineup because you have one of the speediest guys in the PGCBL on the base path.
Hits that one to left field. It's tailing. It will just land foul.
That would have guaranteed been a triple if that did drop.
Two-two game here in the bottom half of the fifth. Tyler Bach at the dish and a 2-1 count. Hits that one to right field. It will dunk in. It's a one-out single here for Tyler Bach.
I don't know if you noticed, Dan, but he used a different bat at the plate there. And he's 1-for-1 with the new bat.
Top of the order here for Saugerties. Mario Trivella stepping in. Has flown out to center twice in this game. The most recent one would have been a home run any other part of the ballpark, but Morabito was able to grab it just short of that 390 sign in center field. He'll take a first pitch ball.
Trivella 0 for 2 on the day. Hit both balls smoked to the center field. One at the 385, one about 370, looking to finally get one to land on the grass.
Bach will steal, poked into right field. It will get down. Bach is going to go over to third, and a well-executed hit and run here with one out.
The Rapids getting a taste of their own medicine there, Dan. Really, we saw it in the first. That's how they got the first run. Hudson Taylor really stole second, and then the hit and run to get home. And exactly what Mario Trivella and Tyler Bach did.
Nate Manley will come up to the dish now with the runners at the corners. One out here in the bottom half of the fifth. Stallions trying to retake the lead. They had it in the second 2-1, but Watertown tied up this game in the top half, putting up just a singular run. Leads us to a 2-2 ball game. They'll give a check over on Trivella. Manley in this game is 0 for 2. Smoked a ball over to third in his last plate appearance. Pulls that one foul for strike one.
It's unusual for Manley to start 0-2. You usually don't see that a lot in the scorebook. Always starting off hot with a hit. That means Manley is due for a hit soon with the way he's been hitting this year.
Runners at the corners, one out here in the bottom half of the fifth. Going to keep Trivella close. Definitely want to put him in motion in this situation. A throw down to second, and Tyler Bach could steal home. Here's the 0-1. Catches the outside part of the plate for strike two.
First time Roper has thrown that slider for a strike, and I'm going to say 2 innings.
0-2 count here to Nate Manley. The pitch. Misses down low. Going over to second is Trivella. Bergamoto could not get the tag down in time. It's a stolen base for Mario Trivella.
Puts a lot less stress off of Manley now, knowing he can't cause an inning-ending double play.
And also a ball to the outfield will give the Stallions a 2-run lead. Here's the 1-2. Misses down low. 2-2 count here to Nate Manley. The pitch. Smoke to the left side. A nice play by Runge. He'll throw to first. It's going to be offline. Actually ends up hitting Manley. 2 runs are going to come home to score, and it's 4-2 Stallions.
That's the second time that we've seen a player get hit by the ball today, Dan. That one not an out because it is from the defense throwing to a base. But I haven't seen it once, more or less twice in one game.
Regardless, it's a 2 RBI single for Nate Manley. He boosts his average. It's his 9th RBI of the season. It's 4-2 Saugerties. Justin Ford will step in, trying to extend the lead.
An effective last 3 at-bats, 3 singles. And we came into this inning with 4 hits, now 7. So really starting to get hit after hit.
Ford 0 for 2 in this game. Lined out over to Runge at third in the bottom half of the third. He'll take outside. It's 1-1. Manley is over at first. There's 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. Ford pokes that one to the right side. It's going to drop fair. Manley is chugging around third. They're going to hold him up there. It's a double here for Justin Ford, and there's runners at second and third.
Justin Ford best with runners on base. We talked about that in the pregame, Dan. 22 RBIs, 2 home runs, and he just adds another double to the list, making it his 2nd double of the year.
3rd extra base hit overall. We're going to see a mound visit here for the Rapids. Runners are at second and third with 1 out. Same scenario now as it was for Nate Manley just a batter ago.
So now that is a single for Bach. Then we go to Travella, another single. Then we go to single to Manley and a double to Ford. So 4 hits in a row for the Stallions. And it goes back to Yaman saying the momentum of player by player getting hits has increased with the team's chemistry game by game.
They've been very disciplined at the dish. We saw it in the bottom half of the 8th against Mohawk Valley. Ryan Rescio started off with the single, then Quayle got hit by the pitch. Manley with the walk, Justin Ford with an RBI single, and then the grand slam by Yaman. For this team, it's really about stringing hits together, and they're doing a great job of that as of late. Eddie Yaman will step in here with runners at second and third, feeling eerily similar to when he hit the grand slam on Wednesday when their bases were loaded and 2 outs in the inning. We'll see if he can drive a couple of runners home. Today he's 1 for 1 with a walk in the 2nd. Hits this one into right center field. Morabito going back. He's got it on the track. Manley will score. It's a sac fly here for Eddie Yaman and a 3-run Stallions lead.
Yaman adding another RBI to his resume. So that is number 11 on the year. And keep in mind, this is just his 7th game with the Stallions. So averaging more than an RBI a game for the newly coming Eddie Yaman.
3 runs have come across to score here in the bottom half of the 5th. Stallions taking a 5-2 lead. Matt McIntyre will be the next Stallion up to the dish. He chops that one foul.
McIntyre 1 for 2 on the day, a single in the 2nd and a ground out to the second baseman, which was the one that hit Eddie Yaman as he was going from first to second.
Justin Ford is at second. There's 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 5th. Here's the 0-1. That one gets by Sackett. Going to third is Ford. That's another wild pitch here from Kyle Roper.
Roper having that sequence of events pretty frequently today where he loses his control and it takes an immense amount of stress to get it back right where he wants it to be.
1-1 count here to McIntyre. Ford now just 90 feet away from making this a 6-2 ball game. That one misses down low. It's 2-1. If you draw back to when the Stallions visited Watertown 6 days ago, Saugerties jumped ahead 2-0 before Watertown would plate 5 straight runs to take a 5-2 lead. Nearly the opposite. Same story, just different home and away here at Cantine Field 6 days later. 3-1 count here to McIntyre. Ford at third, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch. He swings through it for strike 3. It was a full count. My bad, the scoreboard showed me 2-2. I got tripped up. That's totally on me, not on our producer, Casey DeSell. Here's the real payoff pitch. That one's grounded over to Hudson Taylor. He fields, throws to first in time for out number 3. There's your real inning-ending play. Stallions, though, played 3 here in the bottom half of the 5th. We head to the 6th. It's 5-2 Saugerties. Top half of the 6th here at Cantine Field. Stallions taking a 3-run lead in that bottom half of the 5th by way of a 2 RBI single from Nate Manley and then a sac fly from Eddie Yaman.
Stallions really just doing as they are projected to do, which is hit. Their lineup, their college stats, their stats in the PGCBL, all direct to 9 hitters on the field.
Had a 281 average coming into this game. That will certainly be up. 8 hits here tonight. They had 14 against Mohawk Valley 2 days ago and just 2 against Amsterdam earlier in the week. So it's been a roller coaster of a ride in the last 3 games for this Stallion squad, but things looking up. Dominic Morabito, the 10-hole hitter, starting things off for Watertown in the top half of the 6th. He swings through it for strike 1.
Constance with an iffy inning last inning. He walked the first batter and allowed himself to get a double play and then a ground out to second.
That one misses upstairs. It's 1-1. Watertown plated 1 in that top half of the 5th, tying the game at 2. But the tie was short-lived with Saugerties plating 3 in the bottom half. That one misses upstairs. It's 2-1. Morabito is 0 for 1 today. Ground out over to third in that top half of the 3rd. Here's the 2-1. Fouled back, and it's 2-2.
And Dan, the Stallions' defense looks impeccable today. From the infield to the behind the plate to the outfield, really looking up to par.
It's a complete 360 from just a few games ago where they recorded 7 errors in a single contest. Here's the 2-2. Fouled back once again, and the count will stay knotted at 2s.
Constance looking for his first strikeout of the game. He's faced 4 batters. This will be his 5th. Still no strikeouts.
Here's the 2-2. Misses down low, and the count will go full. Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3 gets him swinging. First punch out of the day here for Derek Constance, and there's 1 out in the top half of the 6th.
That is back-to-back batters for Constance with full counts, both of them resulting his way. The first one a ground out to second, this last one a strikeout.
Top of the order here for the Rapids. It'll be Jeff Hadson Taylor digging in. He's 1 for 1 in this game. Had a single to start off the entire contest, and it would eventually come around to score. That gave Watertown an early 1-0 lead in the first. First pitch from Constance finds the zone for strike 1.
Constance getting way more comfortable with that first pitch strike, Dan.
The 0-1. Taylor just fighting that one off, and it's quickly 0-2. Constance deals. Misses upstairs. It's 1-2.
Constance finally having an at-bat where the at-bat's in his hands, not the batter's hands, where he's trying to fight back to get the out.
1-2 count, 1 out here in the top half of the 6th. The pitch. Grounded over to first. Yaman struggles with it, but comes up with it. Not in time. Hadson Taylor beats it out, but seems to be in some pain down on the first baseline, tugging at that left hamstring. It seemed like Yaman had some trouble with it initially, though. Bobbled that ball before flipping it over to Constance.
Yeah, Yaman bobbled it, but Constance also hesitated, thinking that Yaman might have the possibility to get to first by himself. Originally didn't fully sprint at first there. I think when he noticed it, it might have been too late.
Still waiting to see if Hadson Taylor is okay out there in right. We're going to step away for a second. We'll be right back. Runner on first here for the Rapids with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Yep. So Hadson Taylor is going to come out of this game with injury. Pinch runner to replace him is going to be Chaz Crook, number 24, the St. Bonaventure product.
That's a big loss for the Rapids. Dan, your leadoff hitter, 22 stolen bases on the year now. It limits them for the hit and runs, the stolen bases, to get around the bases more efficiently.
Dylan Wannett will step in here with 1 out in the top half of the 6th. Crook is over at first after Hadson Taylor had to leave the game with injury. He was able to walk off the field under his own power, but of course, best wishes to him. Here's the first pitch. Finds the zone for strike 1. Crook on the base pass so far this season only has a singular stolen base, so that loss will be noticeable as we head to the latter half of this ball game. We'll give a check over on him, and we did also replay it on the review. And Hudson Taylor was out over there at first, but no review technology here in the PGCBL, so whatever the umpire says does go. Wannett swings through it, and it's quickly 0-2.
Now, this is the second batter in a row where Constance has taken advantage of that first and second pitch strike, putting the batter at a limited option.
The 0-2. Wannett's able to stay alive. Hudson Taylor had the one-out single, left the game with that hamstring injury. Chaz Crook is over at first base. Dylan Wannett at the dish in an 0-2 count. Constance deals. He was out. If Manley threw down to first right there, it could have been dropped third. But the umpire called time. We'll see if it's ruled catcher interference, as that bat did hit Manley's glove.
I didn't even see that. That's a great call out. That could be an out, or could be a single, depending on what the umpires talk about. It originally not being called catcher interference does make some believe that it will be hard to overturn it to catcher interference.
Home plate umpire Austin Presell will rule him out, so there's 2 outs, and it's the second strikeout of this inning for Derek Constance. Nick Bergamato, the second baseman, will now step in with 2 outs. Bergamato walking in his last at-bat, that being in the top half of the 4th. First pitch misses outside. It's 1-0. Crook is over at first. There's 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th. That one finds the outside part of the plate. It's 1-1. Nearly had Crook over there at first. He's back in time. Matthew Drilling's warming in the pen for the Stallions. We'll see when and if he gets brought into this ball game. The 1-1 in there for strike 2.
Manley really doing an impeccable job behind the plate, helping those frames for a strike. He's had 3 or 4 overturned calls that were balls turned into strikes just with his framing.
The 1-2 just misses at the top of the zone. It's 2-2. Two count, 2 outs. Runner at first here in the top half of the 6th. Bergamato at the dish. The pitch fouled off to the right side, and we'll do it again at 2-2. Two count, 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th. Crook is at first. Bergamato at the plate. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs, and the count will go full. Constance is going to step off. Full count, 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th. Crook will be released from first. Here's the payoff. Misses upstairs. It's a walk here to Nick Bergamato. Constance was up in that count as well. Had it at 1-2, but unable to locate and get the 3rd out of this inning.
He's done a better job getting that 2-strike approach for the batters, but then loses it and allows 3 straight balls to get for his second walk of the game.
It'll give Ryan Kramer a shot to tie up this ball game. Had a 3-run home run against the Stallions 6 days ago in Watertown. First pitch to him misses outside for ball 1. Kramer 1 for 2 today, had the RBI single in the first, which brought home the first run of this ball game. Trying to plate Crook from second and cut the deficit. Here's the pitch. Off speed in there for strike 1.
Kramer, a dangerous hitter to have up in this scenario, Dan. We saw that 2 outs doesn't mean a lot when it comes. There's still an out left. We saw it in Amsterdam where 2 outs was most of where the runs were scored.
The 1-1 misses down low. You mentioned that. The first 5 runs of the ball game for Mohawk Valley on Wednesday night also came with 2 outs. It's been a struggle for the Stallions. Constance trying to flip the script here in the top half of the 6th. The 2-1. That one's hit to Hot. He's got it for out number 3. Constance is able to get out of the jam. Watertown strands 2 here in the top half of the 6th. Stallions still leading by 3. Bottom half of the 6th here at Cantine Field. Stallions with a 3-run lead after putting up a 3 spot in the bottom half of the 5th. And if there's a time to push for offense and blow this game out of the water, the time is now.
Yeah, the Stallions don't want to get the foot off of the gas pedal yet. Only up 3, and we saw last time at Watertown, a 3-run home run changes all of the optics to the game.
Peyton Bonds will start off this bottom half of the 6th. We saw Bonds rock a single to left field in his second at-bat. That ball was smoked. First time we've seen bat-to-ball for Bonds as a Stallion. That one misses outside. Kyle Roper is still on the mound for Watertown, setting him out there for the 6th. Sackett's going to want to talk this one over. We look back at Bonds' last at-bat. That ball was crushed to left field.
That was a high-velocity shot, just a single, but it showed enough that, hey, I can hit the ball. Don't pitch me a strike down the middle. It won't be your best interest.
Bonds batting .267 this past season at Campbell. Going to Rutgers next year for his sophomore season. That one misses down low. It's 2-0.
Bonds just looking for the right pitch to crush like he did in his last at-bat. He waited for his pitch.
2-0. Smacks that one to left field. Near identical to his last at-bat. Back-to-back singles for Peyton Bonds.
It really goes with the saying, if you blink, you'll miss it. If you blink, you'll miss that. That's hit 100 miles per hour off of the bat. That the third baseman didn't have a shot to move laterally to get it.
Byram Hott will step in now. Hott in this game, 0 for 2. Trying to get himself on the board in the hit category. Bonds is over at first. He'll grunt. Here's the throw down from Sackett. He misses it. First stolen base of the year for Peyton Bonds.
Yeah, just you could see how fast he is with the long legs and the long strides. It provides speed.
And now it makes Hott's job a whole lot easier. Just needs to hit a ball to the outfield. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Fouls that one off, and once again, similar to his last at-bat, seems like Hott is just trying a little bit too much.
He's overcompensating every pitch, Dan. It looks like he wants to swing out of his shoes to every pitch. To get to that point where you're comfortable, you got to start with the simple swings first.
Here's the 1-1. Misses on the inside. It's 2-1. Bonds is over at second. It's a 2-1 count. Here to Byram Hott. Nobody out in the bottom half of the sixth. Smacks that one up the middle. It will go through. Bonds is waved home. He will score. It's an RBI single for Byram Hott, and it's 6-2 Stallions.
Hott's last game with the Stallions couldn't have done it any better. Adds a run to the Stallions board and puts them up 4.
And we're going to see a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen here for Watertown after the RBI single from Hott. Hott is at first. There's nobody out. Ryan Rescio coming to bat. The Stallions have plated 1 here in the bottom half of the 6th. We'll be right back. New pitcher on the mound here for Watertown is number 27, Cale Clarkson, in his 9th appearance of the season.
Yeah, the 6'3" rising freshman from Canada, Dan, goes to Jefferson Community College. He has a 5.09 on the season in 8 games played, 2 of them being starts. He's pitched 17 and 2/3 innings pitched. In those 17 and 2/3, 26 strikeouts, 15 walks, and 18 hits allowed.
And AJ, playing this Watertown team, you see something very rare. Nearly every pitcher who starts the game for them goes at least 5 innings, which is uncharacteristic in the PGCBL.
Yeah, in a summer league like this, you try to give all of the pitchers reps. And it's unusual because we haven't seen it yet, but this is also the second matchup of the season with the Rapids, so there's a reason why we haven't seen it a lot. If you look at our pitchers, Nick Pettit has 25 innings now, and for the most with the Stallions. You look at the Rapids, Mason Collin has 39 2/3, and they started the same amount of games. It's really immense longevity from pitcher to pitcher, game in and game out.
Roper leaves the game with a final line of 5 2/3 innings, pitched 10 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those being earned. Ryan Rescio will step in as the first batter to face Clarkson. Swings through that one for strike one.
Clarkson in his last start on July 7th in a win to Glens Falls 9-7, pitched 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, them being earned, 4 hits, 4 walks, and struck out 5.
Here's the 0-1. Misses upstairs. It's 1-1. Hot is over at first. He delivered an RBI single to drive home Peyton Bonds, making the Stallions lead 4 here in the bottom half of the 6th. Saugerties has had back-to-back innings where they've played it at least 1 run. Here's the 1-1. Curveball misses upstairs. It's 2-1.
Stallions not seeing a ton of curveball action today. Roper and Clarkson both slow starts to their curveball success early in the count and especially late in the count.
2-1 misses upstairs. It's 3-1. Definitely some slower velocity here in this game by Clarkson. And also on top of it, a lefty on the mound, which is the first one the Stallions have seen today. 3-1. Misses on the outside. First batter that Clarkson sees. He deals a walk, and now there's runners at first and second with nobody out.
Yeah, Roper pitched five innings and gave up only 1 walk. We look at Clarkson in his first batter, already gave up a walk, so not the greatest start to coming in for Roper.
It'll be Tyler Bach here with nobody out in the 6th, and you think about it now, this is a prime bunt opportunity for Tyler Bach with so much speed. That one misses down low for ball 1.
You also look at it in the bunt scenario, a lefty-lefty. A disadvantage to Bach, an advantage to Clarkson. So the bunt here wouldn't be the worst idea.
Runners are at first and second. There's nobody out. Here's the 1-0. It misses upstairs. Clarkson having trouble locating to start his outing. Two-0 count. Runners at first and second. Nobody out. That one finds the zone. It's 2-1. Saugerties trying to blow this game wide open here in the bottom half of the 6th. They already lead by 4. Here's the 2-1. Bach fouls that one off, and the count will go to 2-2.
Bach in his last at-bat did get a single to right field and did come around to score for the Stallions' 5th run.
Try to put the ball in play once again. Here's the 2-2. The off-speed misses outside, and the count will go full. Definitely don't want to load the bases with Mario Trivella hovering on deck. The payoff. Misses down low. There's going to be bases loaded with nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th for Mario Trivella.
Trivella with a great opportunity now. 2 home runs, 17 RBIs on the season. Now 3 ducks in the pond, Dan. And Trivella with a great opportunity to add RBIs to his resume.
Clarkson has struggled with control, back-to-back walks to start his relief outing, and the big advantage for Trivella is that he can attack that slow curveball with the lefty-righty matchup. First pitch to him misses down low. Infield is in here for Watertown, trying to prevent any more runs from coming home. Stallions have already plated one. Clarkson misses again. It's 2-0.
Trivella with great discipline as well. 15 walks on the season, Dan. So he's not afraid to take a walk.
And Sackett is just going to want to try and calm down Cale Clarkson. Clarkson coming into this outing a 5.09 ERA. And his last outing, 4 earned runs given up to the Glens Falls Dragons in just 3 innings.
And if you look at the Glens Falls Dragons this season, Dan, not great success. 4-21 on the season. And to give up 4 runs to a struggling team, it doesn't show you the greatest amount of confidence.
Dragons, of course, in last place in the PGCBL, 19.5 games back of first. Stallions will have 2 matchups coming up with them starting tomorrow up at Eastfield and then Monday back here at Cantine. Here's the 2-0. Misses, and now it's a 3-0. Clarkson at risk of walking home a run.
He's walked his first 2 batters now, in jeopardy of walking his third. Not the greatest opportunity for Clarkson.
Take sign is on here for Trivella. He will take it, and it's 3-1. Now, if you see a pitch you like, if you're Mario Trivella, swing for the fences.
Yeah, it's all in his hands now. It's a batter's count.
The 3-1. He does swing, will chase down low, and the count will go full.
You could tell Trivella not completely satisfied with himself and in that swing. Now he has himself in a little bit of a pickle. Now he's fighting to stay alive. 3-2, bases loaded, up by 4.
Bases are loaded full of Stallions. Here's the payoff. Trivella stays alive and just fouls it back.
It's in Clarkson's greatest interest to get this out right now, because with a 385, a 384 hitter with the next 2, trouble is on the way.
Hott is at third, Recio at second, over at first, Bach. Trivella at the dish. Here's the payoff pitch. That one ends up hitting umpire Austin Presell. A run will come home at 7-2 Stallions.
And that is his third base on balls in a row, Dan. Not exactly, honestly, quite the opposite from Ropel, where he had 1 walk in 5 innings.
Nate Manley will step up now with the bases juiced. With his power, he has the chance to blow this game wide open. Recio's at third, Bach at second, Trivella at first. Clarkson deals, misses upstairs, and one of the more worrying things for Clarkson is you look down who's coming up. All righties. Got no lefties coming up.
Stallions lineup is stacked by righties, the only lefty being Tyler Bach.
The 1-0. Manley fouls that one back. And you would usually think that's a downside, but in this situation, it's an upgrade or an advantage.
For sure. Lefty, righty, one of the more advantagized strategies, pitcher to batter.
That one misses upstairs. Sackett wanted to check over on Trivella. 2-1 count.
It's a risky play there by Sackett to Kremer. We saw what happened last 2 times. Roper tried to pick off at first and allowed 2 runs.
2-1 count. Bases are loaded. Watertown has the infield in. Still no outs in this inning. Clarkson misses outside, and it's 3-1. A dangerous hitter's count to Nate Manley.
Clarkson has not had a count in his advantage yet, and this will be the 4th batter he has faced.
The 3-1. finds the zone. The count will go full for back-to-back batters. Bases are still loaded. Here's the payoff pitch. Misses on the outside corner. Back-to-back runs have come home via the walk, and it's 8-2 Saugerties.
Walking batter after batter is not the solution here.
And we're going to see a mound visit here for the Rapids. It's another Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. So Cale Clarkson comes into this game, walks 4 straight batters, lets 2 runners in. He will now leave. Bases are still loaded. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th. Justin Ford coming to hit. Stay with us.
First time it happened.
All right, let's do it. Back here in the bottom half of the 6th, Saugerties has played with 3. New arm on the mound for Watertown is Jason Carrasco.
Carrasco this season so far does have a loss on the resume, no wins. ERA stands at a 2.38. 8 games played, none of them started. 11 in the 3rd innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 16 walks, and allowing 10 hits. The walks has been a problem for him so far this season.
He's got 16 on the year. Last appearance, July 8th against Utica. That was Watertown's last game. Pitched 3 innings, an earned run, 3 hits, 3 walks. First pitch here to Justin Ford. Misses upstairs. He'll step in with the bases full of Stallions. Tyler Bach at 3rd, Mario Travella at 2nd, and Nate Manley at 1st. Here's the 1-0. This one's hit out into center field. Should plate a run. Morabito under it. It's in shallow center. Bach is going to try the throw. He's coming home, and he will be safe. It's a sac fly here for Justin Ford, and it's 9-2 Stallions.
Ford will get an out in return for a run any day of the week, and he just did that.
4 runs have come across to score here in this bottom half of the 6th. Those 4 being Peyton Bonds, Byram Hott, Ryan Resio, and Tyler Bach. Eddie Yaman will look to keep things going. In this game, he's 2 for 2. Also has a sac fly in his last plate appearance. Rocks that one into left center field. Morabito is going back to the track. He'll catch it. Tagging to 3rd is Travella, and there's 2 outs in this inning. That one, for a second, I thought it could have been back-to-back home runs for Eddie Yaman.
I thought that was the case as well, Dan, but as it went up, it kind of died out. It died out as it hit. It was so high in the air.
Matt McIntyre will step in now. 2 outs here in this bottom half of the 6th. Carrasco has produced back-to-back outs after coming in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Runners at the corners, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th. That one misses upstairs. It's 1-0.
McIntyre looking to add to the fun, to add to the run. 10 hits in just the bottom of the 6th. Stallions bats are rolling.
The 1-0. McIntyre swings through that one. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Had a single in the second and would be the first run to come around to score for Saugerties. 1-1 count. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Misses down low, gets away from Sackett. Coming home is Trivella. He stole home to win the game last time. He'll steal home here today, and it's 10-2 Stallions.
Trivella stealing home is nothing that no one hasn't seen before. 2 times in 2 days, one being a walk-off, one just being the 10th run.
Manley will move over to second. Stallions have put up a 5 spot here in the 6th. Now back-to-back games where they've had at least 1 inning where they put up 5 runs. Here's the 2-1. McIntyre fouls that one off, and the count will go to 2-2.
McIntyre trying to fight and just keep on doing what the batter before him does. And for the past few batters, every batter just getting on base.
And if McIntyre can reach base here, Peyton Bonds will come up to bat. The Stallions will have batted around here in the bottom half of the 6th. The 2-2. Misses on the outside. The count will go full. Fourth full count of this bottom of the 6th. The payoff. McIntyre is fooled with the off speed. So Carrasco comes in and retires the first 3 batters that he faces, limits the damage, but the Stallions put up 5 here in the bottom half of the 6th. They lead it by 8 as we head to the 7th. Top half of the 7th. Dan Shallon with you alongside AJ DiBenedetto. Why don't we take a look at our Pac Cub in-game stats. Stallions, of course, up 10-2. They have double-digit mark in hits for the 2nd straight game now, and on top of that, AJ, they've been really good with walks. 4 of those coming in the last inning, which brought home 2 runs.
Yeah, just getting double-digit hits combined with 5 walks. It's a recipe for a win in the book. If you could do that every game, which is completely hard to do, don't get me wrong, you'd see a lot more wins on the book. But hits combining with walks gets runs, and runs wins games.
New pitcher on the mound here for Stallions. Matthew Drillings is going to take over for the top half of the 7th after Derek Constance pitched 2 innings and gave up just a singular run.
Drillings on the year so far goes to Oswego, but on the season so far more in general, he's 2-0, a 0 ERA. 2 games played, none of them being a start. 4 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, and ending it off with 3 hits.
First batter that he's going to face here is Jake Blasi. Blasi, the extra hitter in this game, 0 for 2 tonight, despite batting .377 coming into this ball game.
He does lead the Rapids with average and one of their most reliable hitters, batting .5.
And you look at this game, AJ, heading into 2 games against Glens Falls, if the Stallions can plate 2 runs in the 7th or the 8th, this game will end early, and they can save some arms.
Yeah, you have to save some arms. Looking like 4 or 5 games in the next 4 or 5 days. It's a lot of stress on the arms, Dan. You got to keep as many away as you can.
This one's hit out into left field. Bonds chasing under it for a quick out, number 1.
Bonds with his first fly ball attempt in left field, and it is the 7th inning. Nothing really coming his way today in left field.
But no worries, he fields it cleanly for out number 1. So with 1 out here in the top half of the 7th, Peyton Shipman, the right fielder, will dig in.
In Shipman's last 2 at-bats in the 2nd inning, he lined out to hot, and in the 5th, he did walk.
He takes that pitch for ball 1. Drilling still hasn't given up an earned run this season. And get this, despite pitching just 4 innings so far this season, he's 2-0. Both times he's come into the game has been the winning pitcher of record. 2-0 count. This one's chopped up the middle. Trivella Fields throws across his body for out number 2.
Trivella repeatedly throws across the body and makes accurate throws. I'm not sure if I can name a amount of players on my hands that could do that in the PGCBL. He's one of special talent.
Connor Sackett, the catcher, will now come up here with 2 outs. Sackett 1 for 2 tonight, but his night tonight has really been defined by some struggles behind the dish, which has allowed 2 runs to score. Hits this one over to Hott. He fields it cleanly, throw to first. 1-2-3 inning to start off Matthew Drilling's relief outing. Stallions hold Watertown to another 0 here in the 7th. We've hit the 7th inning stretch at Cantine Field. Stallions leading by 8. We're going to keep it right here.
God bless America.
Back here in the bottom half of the 7th, Dan Shalom with you alongside AJ DeBenedetto. 2 runs ends this game for the Stallions, and just like last inning, Peyton Bonds will lead things off.
Bonds 2 for 3 on the day, a fly out to first in the 2nd inning. Then in the 4th and the 6th, roped singles to the 3rd base.
Could you ask for a better debut?
No, this is the exact debut that any player would want, especially with his talent and his potential.
Just gives him things to build on, acclimating to Saugerties. First day here. And first day being around the entire organization, has handled it like a true professional. He'll lead off here in the bottom half of the 7th. Jason Carrasco stays on the mound for his 2nd inning of work after retiring his first 3 batters when he was brought in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Misses down low for ball 1.
With Bonds at the plate so far, looking at his first 3 at-bats, every count in his hands. A 1-0, fly out to first. A 3-1, single. And then a 2-0 single as well. So everything in his hands, Dan.
He's in a 2-0 count right now.
2-0 now. So 4 for 4 on the count being in his possession so far.
That's hit back-to-back singles to the left side. Here's the 2-0. Takes down low. He's not going to swing at anything he doesn't like, and it's quickly 3-0.
Looks like Bonds might have the green light here. Up 10-2, first day with Saugerties. No reason to not give the green light.
He'll take that pitch. It's 3-1. Bonds living up to his numbers this past season at Campbell, 267, and is already 2 for 3 here tonight. Here's the 3-1. Fouls that one off, and the count will go full. The payoff pitch. Off speed misses upstairs. It's a leadoff walk here for Peyton Bonds.
So even although the count did get close, Bonds always still finding a way on.
Now Byram Hott will step in in what could be his last at-bat in a Stallions uniform.
His last at-bat in the 6th, he did get an RBI single, and we thought that might be the farewell at-bat. Well, we were wrong. He gets another one right here.
Takes that one outside. We saw Bonds steal second in the last time that he was on base in the 6th. We'll see if he does so again. Was very speedy. Had a great jump.
Yeah, at college, 14 stolen bases, 15 walks. It's all proven in just this one game.
1-0. Carrasco misses down low. It's quickly 2-0. That's now back-to-back counts where Carrasco has gone down with 2 straight balls. Check over on Bonds. Byram Hott does represent the game-winning run with the PGCBL rules. 10-run mercy rule after 7 innings. The 2-0. That one gets past Sackett once again. Bonds moves over to second. That's going to be scored a wild pitch on Carrasco.
And Dan, in just 8 batters, 5 of those 8 getting walked. So over a 50% chance of getting walked while going at the plate right now.
Back-to-back 3-0 counts as well in this inning. Hott does have the green light. Smokes the ball down the left field line. Bonds is going to come around to score. Going to second is Hott. It's an RBI double here for Byram Hott, and it's 11-2 Stallions.
Hott knows that this is his last game, and 2 for 2 in his last 2 at-bats with the Stallions. Really no other way to say goodbye to such an amazing organization.
Bonds scores for the 2nd time today, and it'll bring up Ryan Rescio. Rescio had a single in the 2nd lined out over to left field in the 4th before walking in the 6th.
Resio living up to that 409 the past 7 leads the team. And on the season of 275 expected to go up after this game.
And if he can just notch a ball to the outfield, this one will be over. That one finds the zone for strike 1. Saugerties today, 11 runs off of 11 hits, no errors. Back on track.
Back on track, Dan, exactly where Coach Rich Doobie wanted them to be today.
Here's the 0-1. 2 straight strikes here from Carrasco makes it 0-2.
First time Carrasco has the count in his hands. You know, it's been now 5 and 8, right? Walks. Hopefully not looking to walk another batter here.
The 0-2. Resio late on that one. He goes down on strikes for the first time today, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
So now, Dan, I ask you a question. With box speed at the plate, with a man on second, trying to relieve arms, would you bunt here with an opportunity with Bach being safe at first?
I don't hate it, but it's not completely necessary. We'll see what Rich Doobie decides to do. He will try and lay down bunt. Gets it down perfectly to the left side. Carrasco throws to first. Not in time. Bach legs it out just like you said, AJ. It's an infield single, and now there's runners at the corners.
Bach really speed. He was running so fast his legs couldn't even catch up with it. They were going so fast.
He said speed is his key. Indeed it is. It'll set up Stallions with runners at the corners, 1 out. All Trivella has to do is put a ball in play, and Saugerties should win this game. That one misses down low. Watertown is going to bring the infield in. They want to keep this game going. Runners are at the corners, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th. Trivella with a big hack there, and it's quickly 1-1.
Trivella, 18 RBIs on the year, 17 coming in, an RBI tonight with a perfect opportunity to add another RBI, making it 19 on the year.
Trivella fouls that one back. It's 1-2.
Keep in mind, Dan, double play is in scenario here, so this could end the 7th 11-2.
See if they decide to send Bach over to second and prevent that. Not even anybody covering second. The 1-2. Misses outside, gets past Sackett, coming home is hot. He is going to win this ball game. Stallions' past 2 games have ended on stolen bases of home, and Saugerties wins it 12-2.
2 games, stolen home, and who else to steal home? The guy who's leaving today, Byram Hott. No one else than him.
A truly special moment for Byram Hott. It was the right way for this game to end. A captain send-off. He'll be heading to Louisville next season. Delivers the winning run of the game for the Stallions, along with going 2 for 4 today, 2 RBIs and a double.
Yeah, just the game the Stallions needed. They have a good next 4 games where they can compete and play Stallions baseball to give them the leverage to first place against the Mohawks. This game against the Watertown Rapids and last game against the Diamond Dogs was the perfect 2-game start to start the momentum run.
They've got a 2-game winning streak. It's the first time that we've been able to say those words in a long time, AJ. It has truly been a minute for this squad, a roller coaster ride, if you will, in about their last 6 games, but seeming like they're going to get back on track. Last time they had a 2-game winning streak was heading into Amsterdam on June 26th.
Yeah, just exactly what the Stallions needed. Down 4 games. Just on a 2-game streak. You have 2 games against Glen Falls, a doubleheader against Albany. All these games with great opportunity to get a win on the board without looking back.
Amsterdam winning their game tonight against the Albany Baseball Club 4-0. So the Stallions will stay 4 games out. they'll be up at Eastfield tomorrow against the Glens Falls Dragons. Casey DeSell and I will have that one for you, 6:50 p.m. Pac Cup pregame. As always, big thanks to Casey DeSell, our producer tonight, and Seth Vanderbeck, our cameraman here at home. For AJ DeBenedetto, I'm Dan Shalom. Stallions win 12-2. They're on a 2-game winning streak. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good job. Very good job. That was a good one.